New CENTER Maine has been looking into complaints about the South Paris company Oxford County Homes, which sells manufactured homes.
Customers and contractors have made a wide range of claims against that business. New CENTER Maine's Alex Haskell spoke with several of them about their experiences and joins us live with those details. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Brian. Hi, Bailey. So I've spoken with nearly a dozen customers and contractors. While their experiences vary, they all say they don't want others to go through this company to buy a home. So former customer Megan Letourneau says after months of delays, the home that arrived wasn't how she designed it. Lisa Hodgkins says after months of delays and different explanations, Oxford County Homes canceled her contract, leaving her without the home she was expecting. Other customers claim promised repairs were never completed and describe what they call unprofessional customer service. New CENTER Maine also obtained emails from June between Oxford County Homes and its home manufacturer Champion Homes showing disputes over unpaid homes. In one email, Champion Homes General Manager Rich Olenhouse writes, quote, "There is zero trust in any dealings with Oxford Homes. We are considering the homes stolen." A local contractor also claims Oxford County Homes still owes her about $12,000 for work her company completed. She says they filed a mechanic's lien against the property in an effort to recover the money.
It is a lot of money, and I am a small business. I basically carried them all winter long, not getting any money. And then you pay me $16,700 and won't pay me any more.
Now, the co-owner of Oxford County Homes, Alicia Berry, canceled a scheduled on-camera interview with New CENTER Maine. In a statement, her attorney says Berry is committed to resolving any concerns fairly and in the appropriate forum. Now, coming up at 6, we will have more on this story. Brian and Bailey.
Alex, our thanks to you. Maine Democrats will choose their U.S. Senate nominee tomorrow to replace Graham Plattner.
601 delegates will vote at the party convention in Bangor, which begins at 9 a.m. The two remaining candidates are Troy Jackson and Sandra Pelletier.
Dan Kleban and David Costello qualified for the ballot, but they have since dropped out. Both have endorsed Troy Jackson. Former Maine Senate President and logger Troy Jackson appears to have the edge heading into that convention. Last week, his campaign said 96% of selected delegates have committed to supporting him, more than enough to secure the nomination if those commitments hold.
And political newcomer Sandra Pelletier is also still in the race. She's a Caribou entrepreneur and women's health advocate. The Maine Democratic Party's executive director would not comment on a prediction, but said the party is confident a Democrat can win the seat in November.
We feel completely confident that we are going to beat U.S. Senator Susan Collins in November. Her polling numbers are as low as they've ever been in her entire 30-year career. She has betrayed Mainers at every single juncture.
Meanwhile, the Maine Republican Party says it is confident Senator Susan Collins will win re-election. Now, in a statement, the Maine GOP also criticized Democratic frontrunner Troy Jackson. The Maine GOP chairman saying in part, quote, "He is just as aggressive and extreme as his predecessor Graham Plattner." While promising a fair nomination process and rejecting any notion that Graham Plattner would influence it, Maine Democrats have still managed to pick the candidate Plattner endorsed in the gubernatorial race.
And a reminder, you can watch that convention again tomorrow. Starts at 9 o'clock in the morning live on New CENTER Maine's streaming app.
Recent ICE raids and detentions have left migrant families separated across borders.
For one Venezuelan mother, the arrest and deportation of her husband then forced her to self-deport with her daughters to Mexico. Valeria Leon reports from Mexico.
ICE raids across the U.S. have not only resulted in deadly shootings, but in families being torn apart. Venezuelan mother of two, Jessica Urriola, was left alone with her daughters in Houston, Texas, after her husband was detained by ICE and deported to Venezuela in 2025.
He left for work, and that day, immigration officers stopped him. It was during the mass raids, and immigration took him away.
The family entered the U.S. through a CBP-1 appointment in 2024, part of a Biden-era program used by nearly 1 million people before the Trump administration shut it down. As U.S. immigration policy sharply shifted when President Trump retook office, Jessica feared she could face the same fate as her husband. She decided to self-deport with her daughters.
I didn't want the same thing that happened to my husband to happen to me. If they detained me, who would my daughters be left with?
For more than a year now, they've been living in Mexico City, where 16-year-old Jess Carlis has been able to play soccer for the first time during an event organized by the European Union for Refugee Children. But her biggest wish is to reunite with her father.
I'd like to go back to Venezuela. I want to see my dad.
Without the money and documents to travel, they remain stranded in Mexico.
We're waiting to see if we can get help with a humanitarian flight, because we don't have the resources to return to Venezuela.
Nearly 13,000 third-country migrants have been deported from the U.S. to Mexico since January 2025. Mexico denies the claims that serving as a U.S. safe third country for asylum seekers. President Claudia Sheinbaum says the country receives migrants for humanitarian reasons.
We are a humanitarian country, and when people of other nationalities arrive, they are not turned away.
Despite Mexico's goodwill, ICE raids continue to leave families split apart and spread out across nations, wondering when they will be able to reunite.